We've got people really shooting for their last chance saloon. Now, the semi-finals are going to be after this. Jonny Elliott looks like he's got a problem. There's some discussion going on with the organisers. Is Jonny going to have to go to a spare cart? We're going to talk through this heat race. They're out qualifying at the moment. They're under a yellow caution because of a problem in the pits. In this race, we're going to have Shaun Mcgrath, Dan Grocott, Stephen King, Jonny Elliott, Dean Hale, Patryk Nieroda, Lukas Nieroda, Lukas Englicky, Ross O'Mara and Sebastian Borek. This is pretty much an all-star entry in this race. A lot of them are genuinely fighting for a place in the semi-final, with a view to how their final is going to go. Not least of which is Jonny Elliott, who's on screen. Jonny Elliott, the Manchester-based driver, he's been having a cracking tournament so far. It did drop to 6th in the previous race, but, well, there's potentially some issues there, and he's not happy. The cart behind him obviously can't get moving. Can't quite see who that is. It's Dean Hale. It's Dean Hale who's behind him, and, well, this has sort of got a little bit caught out. I think they've been brought back in the pits, and Jonny Elliott will lead the way out to qualify. I think if there's a question over the cart, Jonny Elliott will be sort of asked to consider whether he wants to continue with that one. They're on the original circuit, the snail section. Spanners, this could be interesting. Reference Jonny Elliott.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the problem he had with the car is. It's obviously running. It's under its own power. Is it that it was cold or it had not run in the last race? But we've had a break, so I am struggling to get my head around what it is he could have an issue with.
So, Jonny Elliott was saying that he had a cold cart in the previous race. I was talking to him during the interval there. Well, there's somebody else on a bit of a go slow. What's that? That's Stephen King. Stephen King, I think, isn't it? Yeah. Stephen King, who we've seen finish 3rd place, who's another potential front runner there, King. He's coming through, and he was waving to the drivers behind as if to say he's creating a gap. But they're bringing out the checker. Well, this is going to be a little bit strange. We'll see if this sort of irons itself out as the qualifying comes through. So the checker flag is being shown. Jonny Elliott has been listed as fastest from Lukas Englicky, the Czech champion. Jonny Elliott is provisionally on pole position. Lukas Englicky has got a terrible lap time there, 40 seconds. It's all gone a little bit weird. Let's have a look. Patryk Nieroda comes through, 34 seconds. I think Englicky is actually on his warm-up lap there, and because he competed an earlier lap when there was the kerfuffle in the pit lane. Ross O'Mara is fastest. Unbelievable. Ross O'Mara is on the provisional pole position ahead of Patryk Nieroda. We've not seen this before from O'Mara. He hangs on in there. Englicky is second. This is unthinkable, with Ross O'Mara being listed as the fastest in the qualifying, and that's it for the qualifying. Oh, my goodness. So, well, Ross O'Mara on the pole position. What do we say about this, Spanners? It's unthinkable.
Yeah, it's certainly not to form, but Elliott again.
Not to form. Ross O'Mara is normally on the end of the table with the. You know, he's a good boy, and he's got his own sort of things to hang his helmet on about how good he is. But this is the British Rental Car Championship. We've not seen this performance from Ross O'Mara at all. Normally, we'd associate Ross O'Mara, especially in this against these drivers, potentially midfield. Yeah, he'd be. I would, if someone asked me going in, where will Ross O'Mara qualify? I would honestly, and I do like him, he is a friend of mine, but I would say 6th or 7th, not 1st, definitely not 1st. Lukas Englicky, he's won races today, this weekend. Patryk Nieroda, he's won races this weekend. Stephen King, he's been the top 3. Jonny Elliott has won. All these names. Dean Hale has won, and look at that lineup. Shaun Mcgrath as well. He was fighting to beat anything off last place. He's come through into 8th place. This is, I think, possibly his best qualifying for him as well. But Ross O'Mara leading from the pole. And what sort of start is Ross O'Mara going to give us? Is he going to go early? Is he going to go late? He's got the Czech champion, Lukas Englicky, right behind him.
He's gone for it.
Yeah, Ross O'Mara on the gas. He's crossing the line in the lead. This is the first time he's been in the lead of a British Championship event. And Ross O'Mara, well, his previous best, to give some perspective in this, he was 81st in the championship last year, 81st, and now he's leading the way.
Huge move by Jonny Elliott there.
3 wide. Sorry, Spanners, go. Sorry, just getting excited about that 3 wide out of the snail at the back.
Yeah, and that was caused by Jonny Elliott going in sideways into that first proper hairpin.
Yeah, Jonny Elliott really backing it into the corner there. Jonny Elliott is in, what, 6th place now?
Yeah, 21.
And he's in the 21. It is a cold cart, we believe. There was some discussion with the organisers going on. and Jonny Elliott is running in 6th place, but it's still Ross O'Mara half a second in front of Lukas Englicky. Englicky and O'Mara are forming a bit of a breakaway now from Patryk Nieroda. Now they must be really on it if we're talking about people forming a breakaway from, of all people, Patryk Nieroda.
Well, this is the first time we've had this layout for a little while, and now what we've got is a definite kind of hairpin, and people have had a chance to build up lots of momentum into that turn now. So there's an early pit stop, that's number 21, and that's Jonny Elliott.
Jonny Elliott in the pits. Oh, and right behind him, it's Nieroda. Lukasz Nieroda this time, but Jonny Elliott has come out the pits now. What sort of pit stop was that by Jonny Elliott? The early pit stop is always a risk, but it looks like a very fast pit stop by Jonny Elliott. I think we can call that one about 10-second stop. That was about the fastest Elliott could have hoped for. They're back on the snail circuit, the regular circuit here at Formula Fast in Milton Keynes, and that's the circuit they were all practicing. To give some idea of how much practice was done, they were practicing Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. The track was open for practice. On Friday alone, 8,000 laps were completed.
Contact there as King has a little sniff at Nieroda and ends up just clipping his rear quarter. It's a bit of a danger zone there, isn't it? As number 9 Mcgrath takes a good look at Hale, but he gets him on the cutback.
Yeah, I think it's actually Borek he's fighting with. It's Borek that Mcgrath is fighting with there. Sebastian Borek and Mcgrath are really hammer and tongs at it, coming down the backstretch. We're a bit further ahead on the view there. We're looking at Grocott against King. So up in front there's Ross O'Mara. Look at him go. Ross O'Mara, this is the first time he's been the lead of a British Championship race. He's absolutely flying there. He's got the Czech champion behind him, Lukas Englicky, a world-class driver racing in the World Championships last year. So Ross O'Mara is holding off a World Championship racer in Lukas Englicky. Patryk Nieroda is dropping back. Stephen King is in that battle, and so is Dan Grocott. Look at Dan Grocott. We're looking at him there. Dan Grocott is behind the purple helmeted Stephen King. This is shaping up to be quite a performance though for Ross O'Mara. There he is back on screen. Look at him go, Spanners.
Englicky getting impatient into the final hairpin. Loads of contacts. They try and get into the corner past the pit. So I think Englicky is definitely having a look past. He's not afraid of a little bit of contact. Into this first hairpin though, to get the fastest line, you have to really come out wide and leave yourself vulnerable to a lunge. You can see a few people spinning there at some point.
Absolutely, no wonderful. Ross O'Mara is still leading the way from Lukas Englicky, and Lukas Englicky, world-class driver. He's going to be considering his options now on O'Mara. He's going to be considering whether he is in fact faster than O'Mara, in which case he needs a pit stop. If not, he may well stick it out there. Patryk Nieroda is in 3rd, but Nieroda, incredible to say, is not challenging Englicky or the leader O'Mara. This is quite something, because Ross O'Mara is ahead of some serious world-class opposition here, and it has to be said, this is not the sort of performance we've seen from Ross ever before. This is by far his greatest ever run in the BRKC.
And Elliott, again, it's 2nd race in a row that he's pitted early to try and get out of an early battle, but he finds himself behind Mcgrath and Borek.
Absolutely, and in the pits is Grocott. That's Grocott, isn't he? Yeah, Dan Grocott. Dan Grocott was giving Stephen King all kinds of hassle there. He's pitting out of it, so that maybe suggests he thinks he's faster than King, wants to leapfrog him in the pit stops. Let's have a little look at Grocott's stop. Well, it was about 11 seconds, just over 11 seconds, so a fairly conservative one. We'll see how that shapes out. There is a gap there now, and Dean Hale is going to be trying to close in on Stephen King, the 3rd place runner. Sorry, 4th place runner. And, well, side by side, there's Jonny Elliott side by side, and is that with Grocott? No, it's 9 Mcgrath, and Elliott moves up ahead of Mcgrath, and a good pass, Jonny sign, and that's coming out every time Jonny makes a move now. Jonny very much one of the favourites here. Oh, and clattering the wall, that is the 9, that's Shaun Mcgrath. He came barrelling in, he feels he's lost some time, but, well, you always feel slow when you stopped.
I'm not sure that was clean, was it, on the first set for Mcgrath then?
We'll see what the organisers have to say. Mcgrath may get a little bit of a finger wagging for that one. It was a 12-second stop there, and it's dropped him to the back. Had been running, I believe, 8th. He certainly qualified up there in 8th. So we'll see how that works out for Shaun Mcgrath. I was talking to him in the break, and he's just desperate to try and improve on performances. It's not easy out there, and he's trying to just improve his performances generally. Yeah, Shaun Mcgrath, unlucky as a drive-through penalty. He kind of bounced off both walls and all kinds of things going on there, Spanners. So bad luck for Shaun Mcgrath, but, well, he's still in the show. And Englicky having a good look at O'Mara there. O'Mara running maybe a little bit wide, and as soon as you give any kind of visible space to these world-class drivers, they're going to try and take it. Into the Snell section, that's the leader. It is Ross O'Mara, and he's holding off the Czech champion, Lukas Englicky.
Well, Nieroda's making a gap now, so Englicky is going to start thinking he's losing time. That kind of do you roll the dice territory. Where does Englicky come out? He comes out into a gap at the moment. There's a big gap between Hale and Borek.
Yes, he does. And Sebastian Borek, he would probably be quite clever. Here comes Mcgrath. Mcgrath taking his penalty stop. Unlucky there for Shaun. He's doing his best. He's got to take those risks coming in the pits. If he's going to improve, he's got to keep taking the risks. It's a world-class event, so Shaun Mcgrath, unlucky there. He kind of, bouncing off all sides of the pit wall coming in, and unfortunately having to take a second stop as a penalty. But we'll see how he's doing on lap times anyway. There's the leader turning in there. That was Ross O'Mara. He's hanging on to this epically, but you can see through this section here he's just a little bit wider than Lukas Englicky, and that is why Patryk Nieroda is coming in, closing in. He's got it down to 1.2 seconds in Nieroda. Hale in the pits. Hale in the pits. It's looking good. It's looking good now. Have a look at when's he get going. He's on the gas. He's on the gas, but he's off. It's green. It's green. He's on and off the gas. People having to take some serious chances in the pit lane now. And that was a good stop there by Dean Hale. In the pits though. 10. Borek. And so Borek falls a bit further back. Sebastian Borek there. And Ross O'Mara hangs on though in that lead. There's Englicky behind. Now is Nieroda closer? Only slightly. Ross O'Mara is having some serious pace here. What do you think of this, Spanners?
Well, clearly he's putting some pace in, but Englicky is faster, and you can see that Ross O'Mara is slightly more sideways going into that Snell section as they go out. But I think Englicky hasn't got the run down the back straight, which is where we want to be. If you look at the final hairpin, it's very close by the time they get past the pits and over the start-finish straight, but not enough to make a move into that Snell section.
Well, here's Englicky now, and he's definitely been caught by Nieroda. It's a three-way fight for the lead, headed by Ross O'Mara against the Czech champion and one of the finest in the world in Patryk Nieroda. There is Ross O'Mara continuing to lead now. Lukas Englicky, maybe it's time for a pit stop if he feels he's faster than Ross O'Mara, but he's obviously not that confident about making a pit stop, or he probably would have made it already. An incredible showing by O'Mara, and he's got Englicky and Nieroda behind, who are not confident enough to try and pit their way past O'Mara, but maybe the first pit stop will come from Nieroda, do you think? Now he's on the back of Englicky.
I think if one of those two makes a pit stop, that's it. That's a fair roll of the dice.
Yeah, it's going to come down to lap times. Let's have a look. The fastest on the track as we speak is Patryk Nieroda, but that's only 1/10 of a second faster than the race leader, Ross O'Mara. Unbelievable showing by O'Mara.
So I think the priority for Ross O'Mara isn't really lap times at the moment. It's just keeping O'Mara behind. And he's having a look and he's going, well, where is Englicky going to make a pass? And at the moment, the touching is happening in places where he's not really under threat. So it's happening here past the boom camera. It's happening as we get past the snail, so as they get just before the back straight. But in the real danger zones, he's not there.
Absolutely. And Ross O'Mara, of course, is one of the Manchester-based drivers, such as Jonny Elliott, who we know is running in 6th place in this race as we speak. So Ross O'Mara is really showing great form. This is the best by far that we've seen him, and I think he's just loving the fact he's out the front. I think he's just going to stay out there as long as possible in first place. Every lap is a victory, really, in this case Ross O'Mara, and it's a great showing. It's not an accidental first place. This is a very believable first place. Ross O'Mara has come of age literally in this one race, and that seems to be the story of this British Rental Car Championship. Some people who we normally associate running midfield suddenly have kind of unlocked the door, and they're showing that they too are on the level with all these world-class drivers, because this is a world-class event, a true international event, the British Rental Car Championship, running to international rules on pit stops and things like that, and the way the race starts and the qualifying and everything else. So it's not a normal scenario for the likes of O'Mara, who's very much a sort of local racer. But people like Ross O'Mara are showing they can take it to these international stars, such as Lukas Englicky and Patryk Nieroda.
He's going to have a decision to make at some point, though, because as soon as one of those guys pits, he's going to have to choose between the two of them. Arguably, both of them have got the pace on him at the moment. If one of those guys pits, say Nieroda comes in, he can't then just abandon his defensive duties and go for lap time. He's going to have to sort of pick, right, do I hit to cover off, or do I hold track? I think at best he's looking at picking which one of these guys he wants to stay in front of, and you'd have to say that the guy who he chooses not to, if you like, is in box position.
Absolutely. The interesting thing of that, though, with reference Ross O'Mara that we're looking at now on screen, great job in that lead. And Patryk Nieroda is waving to Englicky. Patryk Nieroda is obviously saying to Englicky, look, we need to do something about this guy now. One of them surely is going to come in the pits. No. But I think from Ross O'Mara's perspective, it's going to be a little bit tricky because suddenly he's found himself thrust into the limelight. He's leading the race and no other situation. I mean, these other guys, they're racing this kind of format all the time. So, strategy is an issue for them. Ross O'Mara doesn't race in races where strategy is an issue.
The danger for Nieroda is that he gives Englicky such a hard time that they start falling back off O'Mara. And in fact, since Nieroda's come on as part of that 3-cart train, there has been a slight gap from O'Mara back to Englicky.
Yeah, and looking further back, talking of gaps, well, guess who is the fastest on the track at the moment? Who holds the race fastest lap? Sixth place, Jonny Elliott. Exactly. So Jonny Elliott doing everything he needs to do. Remember, he pit stopped early. These leaders could be in for a bit of a shock when they come out of the pits. They may find that Jonny Elliott appears from a comparative nowhere. Someone we haven't spoken much about a bit further down the order, early pit stopper, Dean Hale. Dean Hale's another one who could also appear from absolutely nowhere, but the leaders could make a stop right now and come out of Hale. There's Jonny Elliott, another Manchester-based driver, and there's Dean Hale as well, right from Patryk Nieroda, first of the leaders into the pits.
Okay, well, O'Mara's got that choice now, because does he keep defending, or does he try and cover off? Who does he think he's fighting?
Absolutely. Well, I think at the moment there's a variety of people that are fighting. Nieroda's come out of the pits with a 3-second gap ahead of Dean Hale, and 3.5 up on Jonny Elliott. So we're seeing Hale and Elliott come through now.
Okay, I think
is up ahead of them.
I think we've got Englicky coming in now.
Englicky is Englicky in or going to?
He's in.
Englicky's in. Second place. Now this is crucial. Where's he going to come out? Reference Nieroda. Here comes Patryk Nieroda. It's going to be very close. Englicky's got position. Nieroda's closing in. Nieroda's got momentum, and it looks like it's safe for Englicky. They're coming into the Snell section. We're looking at Elliott at the moment, but there's Englicky, there's Nieroda. So Englicky has come out into what will be a nominal second place. It's third on the road because Stephen King is currently occupying second, having not pitted.
O'Mara's got to come in now. Surely he's staying out. Fancies it.
O'Mara is just loving being in first place. The thing with O'Mara is, it has to be said, and I don't mean this is a disservice to him, but you've got to question, has he got any plan strategically?
Well, we were talking about him making a choice if one of the guys came in that were behind him came in, but they've both done it. Now then, you were talking about them perhaps not rating O'Mara, if you remember in the last race when Dylan was ahead and you thought maybe Sonia wasn't seeing him as the real title rival. It is telling that Englicky has covered off Nieroda rather than sticking out what he's doing with O'Mara. But does O'Mara have that? Oh, he's in.
Oh, here's O'Mara. This is crucial. This is the race leader. It's Ross O'Mara. An incredible showing. Is it going to be a good pit stop?
We're
hoping for an epic one. And here comes Englicky. Englicky's got momentum, but O'Mara's in the lead. O'Mara continues in the lead. What a show by the Manchester driver. Ross O'Mara continues in the lead. It's situation normal. Englicky and Patryk Nieroda were planning on using their greater experience at world level to outthink Ross O'Mara, but O'Mara, well, they may hold all the aces, but O'Mara has played the joker, and he's definitely in the lead of this one. Look at this, unthinkable has happened. Stephen King leads, but he's yet to pit.
I have to admit, I was worried when O'Mara didn't come in the very next lap. I thought he might have, ruined his chances there, but I think something in his brain must have gone, actually, do you know what? Let's just get in.
I'm going to come in now, yeah. I mean, of course, from O'Mara's point of view, we've got 5 minutes remaining in this race. He wouldn't have been wise anyway to leave it so late that he might risk something. Talking of risks, the biggest risk at the moment is that O'Mara might really upset the apple cart score-wise and win this thing. Englicky and Nieroda were looking for top points. So was Dean Hale, so was Jonny Elliott. In fact, when you look at it, it's seriously close. This is what's happened now that all the main runners are pitted, although we're still to wait for Stephen King. There's O'Mara in the lead, there's Englicky, there's Nieroda on screen, but look, here's Hale, here's Elliott just coming into view on screen, so it's very close. and we can only assume that Stephen King is going to come out somewhere close behind Jonny Elliott, so this could well really open up. Now Dean Hale knows what he's aiming for now. He can probably see the back of Nieroda now as they come down the backstretch. It's still Ross O'Mara in the lead. Lukas Englicky, O'Mara is second. Here's King into the pits. Now King has been passed by the lead three as we speak. He's been passed by Elliott and Hale. So King resumes in sixth place. How close behind it? He's about a second and a half off Jonny Elliott. So there's the leaders coming out of the snail section on screen. There they are, 1, 2, 3. Here's Hale and Elliott, and here comes Stephen King.
Here's a prediction. The second and third guys, Englicky and Nieroda, realising that they have no pit tactics left, get a little punchy now, and that lets Hale and Elliott catch back up, and we have a 5-car train by the end of the race.
Absolutely. Now I think in this case, for such a situation, the danger man would be Nieroda, because Nieroda, he's losing points by being third, and he's going to want to gain points by being first. The only way he's going to do that now is a straight square-up pass on Englicky and O'Mara. So if there's going to be any punchiness, it's probably going to come from Nieroda in third. We've seen him get pretty racy. Now, if he was to make a move and it not come off on Englicky, that's only going to benefit O'Mara, because O'Mara will be a clear winner then, but this could get pretty cagey. Now, can O'Mara stay cool? Surely he's feeling the heat from Englicky. He's been absorbing it all race long, and now Dean Hale's closing up. They're all going up on O'Mara, and can O'Mara absorb the pressure with 3 minutes to go? It must be terrible in that helmet there.
It's closing up, isn't it? Look at Elliott and Hale catching up as well. There's no way we get through the next 3 minutes without some contact from those next 5. Somebody's got to make a move here.
They're all closing in. They're going to be ganging up on O'Mara. O'Mara has never run this far at the front. He's never led a race. He's never won at the British Kart Championship. But normally he's running near the tail, it has to be said. He's a mid to tail field runner, and somehow he's found some speed, and he's absorbing giant pressure. He's not used to these strategies. He's just doing the best he can do. He's putting in his best show, and the pressure must be enormous. Can he absorb it? Can he hold on? He's only got 2 and a bit minutes remaining, and they are really going to be piling on the heat from here. We just want him to win this thing, I think, now, Spanners, don't we? If they could bring out the flag now, all the better.
Yeah, it's hard to not want him to
It's
win.
a 5-way fight for the lead. There's O'Mara, there's Englicky, there's Nieroda, but look at Dean Hale. Dean Hale's closing up on Patryk Nieroda. Jonny Elliott's coming with him. It's a 5-way battle for the lead, headed by the Manchester driver, Ross O'Mara. The unthinkable has happened, and O'Mara has not only led at the start, but he's leading at the finish, and they're all going to be ganging up on him. It's going to kick off on these last couple of
laps. Look at Hale coming down the outside.
Hale to Nieroda. Nieroda blocks him off. Sorry, Spanners, carry on.
That's right, you covered it.
Okay, so there's Ross O'Mara. Gosh, he's hanging on in there. This is the race of races for him. There's O'Mara, there's Englicky, and there is Nieroda. Now, that move by Hale had to be covered by Nieroda, and we can see it cost him some time on Englicky. This is how tight it is. This is how tight the margins are. You just cannot turn up and do well here. 1 minute 18 remaining, that's all there is, and Ross O'Mara could win this thing. It'll be a tragedy if he loses now. Ross O'Mara going to the middle. Oh, he's a bit sideways going in. This could be for Englicky, but Nieroda having a hold off King behind, Hale behind, and then Elliott behind him. And Nieroda is the one fighting the rearguard action. That's helping Englicky, which could be bad news for O'Mara, because a last lap shot by Englicky could take the win with less than a minute to go. We're about to be bringing out the flag. We've got desperately to hope that O'Mara can hang on to this. We don't really have favourites here, but we love this idea of regular backmarker O'Mara actually at the front and going to win this whole thing. Out of nowhere, O'Mara, surely he's only got about a lap or so to go. They're bringing out the flag. They're getting the flag ready. O'Mara has 2 corners to hold on. Just 2 corners to O'Mara. And O'Mara is going to do it. O'Mara has done the unthinkable. He wins. He wins. O'Mara wins. Ross O'Mara has won from Lukas Englicky, from Patryk Nieroda, Dean Hale, Jonny Elliott. Stephen King has come through in 6th place. It's Grocott up to 7th. Lukasz Nieroda is in 8th. Borek is 9th, and Shaun Mcgrath 10th. But what an incredible look! There he is, O'Mara, and he's even taken the sort of hand of the marshal there. And Jonny Elliott, he's a Manchester-based driver as well. He will know Ross O'Mara, and Ross O'Mara, of course, will have been one that I'll be saying the same thing, a little bit like what I said with Dante Dillon. This is not a negative thing to say, but the international drivers, Ross Amaro being somebody that they'll have respected him because he was on the pole position, but they probably won't hold him in the same regard as the others. And Ross Amaro has now really put his name on the map. He is a winner at British level, and he's still celebrating. There's Jonny Elliott. Jonny Elliott's got to be happy with coming through into fifth place, but Ross O'Mara has pulled off the unthinkable. Who'd have thought it? We're going to get a word from Spanners, and there's really only one target down there, and that's Ross O'Mara. What a win. That has got to be the win of the championship so far.
Hi guys, so I'm looking at, there's a lot of black race suits in this race, but obviously we don't, huh? But he's made himself known to me. He's just getting weighed up. People were shouting to him. I know you're not used to this, but you do have to get weighed and speak to Spanners. I'm sure that's the furthest thing from his mind, but a great victory. He was punching the air, and punching the air with victory there. He had to fight for it. We really thought that the two guys behind him were fighting each other, and they seemed to cover each other off. So maybe Ross Amara here has actually taken them a little bit by surprise, because certainly Englicky looked to be covering off Nieroda and not Amara. Let's see if we can catch a word with him. Make sure you come and speak to me. The northern presence, the Manchester presence, is definitely being felt, and here he comes. Unfamiliar territory, lovely to speak to you. What an absolutely fantastic victory. Tell me you were predicting that.
I'll be honest, I pulled that on my backside. I have no idea where that come from. But
so you managed to nail it on the pole lap. You've got the two guys behind you, Englicky and Nieroda. It looked like, were you waiting to see who's going to pit? Because once one pitted, you stayed out. You worried me a little bit.
I was out there, I thought I'll stay out as long as I can. Seeing that they were catching me towards after a couple of laps of me being out, pitted, come out back in front, managed to hold it till the end, luckily.
So we were cheering you on up there, we couldn't help it. But once the two lads behind you pitted, you stayed out. We were screaming, pit, make sure you pit.
I had Shaun Mcgrath at the side. He screamed at me to come in the pit lane. As soon as I seen him, I come in. Like I say, I come out in the front, held it till the end. Couldn't ask for more.
What's the plan now? Champagne?
I don't think I've quite made the semis. I think I'm on 25 points now. I think it's going to be 25, 26 points. It's going to be the.
Enjoy the high. Amazing victory. Well done, pal. It's nice to see that kind of victory. I don't think he was expecting it. He's fought for it and he's held on. Let's look out, because there's some big heavy hitters in this next race.
Yeah, and what a wonderful race that was. Ross Amara. Gosh, we've seen some surprises in this championship edition, the 29th edition of the British Rental Car Championship. None a bigger surprise, it has to be said, than Ross Amara. Normally we see him at best mid-pack down the order. I mean, I've got him listed, his best result in the BRKC was last year, and he was 81st overall, and all of a sudden there was the talk then of possibly making the semi-final. So an amazing result by Ross Amara. We're going to be moving on to the next heat race soon. Heat race 2 of this final round of heats. We are seeing some serious surprises. Going to be running through the list here about who we've got. So for heat race 2, they're already getting down in the carts there. We've got Brad Philpott, the series organiser, Arnaud Tinet, everybody's favourite Frenchman, Jake Campbell-Mills. Now, we didn't see Jake earlier on, so it may well be that he's out